and not followers. Don't be disheartened because you are a leader, but it just takes a while for the followers to catch up to you. So you got to really stick at it. Glenn Boy is saying that he used to live in Muswell Hill.
Wow, that's so far away.
That's West London, right?
And I'm not. Every time I hear Muswell Hill, I just know it's nowhere near me.
That's kind of in Hampstead, right, Glenn Boy? So we're having some conversation with the Brits in the chat room and in the studio. Of course, my guest for the 7 o'clock hour is a delightful young woman by the name of Danielle Haughton Scott. Scott-Haughton. Why do I keep saying Scott-Haughton?
The Haughton is sticking out for you.
Let me tell you something, people. You'll hear us talking about divine, not intervention,
divine order.
Divine order. And more and more and more, divine order is ruling my life. So I've never met Danielle before. Thank you once again, Tilsa. I have to say, big up to Tilsa. It's nearer than Blackpool. Glenn Boy, you're such a comedian. I love that. Yes, it is in North London. Muswell Hill is up by Hampstead, up that way, up there.
Up there.
We're south of the Thames, yes. So we don't go up there. But anyway, thank you so much, Tilsa, for the introduction. And you want to hear something very, very strange. I said to Danielle as we were coming over, Haughton, that name sounds familiar. Are you related? And she said, Antoinette? And I said, yes. She said, yes, she is related to the very, very, very famous Jamaican attorney, Antoinette Haughton. She used to be on the radio.
Yes, she did.
Well, the funny story, the divine order is, back in the day when I was in the UK working for a law firm called Hornby and Levy, there you go, the reviews are coming in. From British Raver.
Oh, thank you.
Back in the day when I worked for law firm Hornby and Levy in Brixton, I went to Jamaica to do some research on their childcare laws. And Antoinette Haughton was one of the attorneys that I worked very closely with. So it's just so strange that so many years later...
Yeah, so you're sitting here with her niece.
I'm sitting here talking to her niece and wondering why we've got this great connection. Because they're all crazy. They're Haughton. And we also share a same birthday month.
Yes, we do.
So I'm like, what can I say?
Thank you so much, British Raver. I'm glad. Make sure you watch the whole thing. It's on youtube.com/DearJesusTV. Thank you.
Yes, it's very interesting, and the quality of the work is interesting. Now, what I also want to say is, as someone who is also in appear, even though this conversation is not about me, it's about you, but I just wanted to say, also appearing in sort of a soap opera type thing, which is trying to be trying to get a distributor for the work. What is your goal in terms of Dear Jesus? I know you said you want to get picked up, but where do you see the series going?
Okay,
transfer to a movie?
No, I see it as a television series on one of. So in Britain, we have Channel 4, and then we also have the spin-off site like E4. We also have BBC 3, which is like the youth version of the BBC.
I've been away from London for a long time, so I don't know. So you're schooling me as to what's going on.
So because what I want to happen is that for me as a Christian, I'm not very. I don't segregate myself. Like I'm a believer, she's a non-believer. I don't talk to them. I don't talk to Muslims or whatever. So I want Dear Jesus to become something that doesn't make people cringe, because what happens a lot of the time is my series is not any different from any of the other black web series out there, but the word Jesus appears, and it gives people. It's like it makes people put their backs up and makes them think, oh no, is she trying to preach to me? She's trying to tell me how to live my life,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah. So
that's
what I'm
absent in your series.
Thank you. So what I want to happen is that we get picked up in, and it just becomes part of the mainstream. That this is a conversation that we have. This is part of the dialogue that we have every day.
These are the issues that a young black woman who happens to be a Christian faces, and this is her coping mechanism.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Christians sometimes we pretend no, God had handled it, and I did well. I got out of that. How did you get out of it? What were the practical steps that you took to get you out of that spiritual place where you were not being happy? And so that's what I want, and I don't want it to be something that we only talk about when we're in a car
on a Sunday.
Yeah, on a Sunday, or do you know what I mean? I want it to be something that we talk about openly, and because I think that through the honesty, once we have an honest and open dialogue, I think non-believers or people who choose to believe in whatever they can also find healing. So that's my 2 cents.
I'm telling you, this young lady is just so articulate, so intelligent. You can tell she has a college degree, right? But I'm just loving the way she's explaining the series, how it evolved. How do you also direct, you write, and at one point you were the director of photography. Where do you get your energy? I know you're an Energizer Bunny right now, but how do you sustain that? How do you keep it going? You said that at one point you were disillusioned and disheartened and Tilsa stepped in, but how do you keep it going when actors are not following your direction, for instance?
I just have to remember that the ultimate goal for me is to win my Oscar. That's it. So
you heard it first on the Conduit Show, and let me just add, at 6:25 you're listening to the Conduit Show. It's Sheron P, and my guest in studio, surprise guest in studio, such a delightful guest, is Miss Danielle Scott-Haughton. I got it right.
Yes,
I got it right.
You did.
And we're having a wonderful conversation about her web series called Dear Jesus. You can check it out on on YouTube
on Facebook,
right now.
Everywhere.
It's on Facebook. And also I want to say, I cannot stop saying, thank you to Tilsa Wright for making that connection with Danielle and myself. A delightful young woman who really is doing something out there. Tantan Fruiton, thank you so much for logging in.
Thank you so much.
So do tell us, what do you think about Dear Jesus? You can call into the studio. Let me give you the number. It's 718-676-0330. While we're talking, I also want to let you know that there is still a competition going on for the previous guest, and it was a play.
Yes.
And the theme was also Christianity. So I guess that's what we're going to be dealing with for this Conduit Show as we celebrate International Women's Month, and the phone is ringing. So, I'm going to give us a chance to have a little break.
Yes.
And see if I can play some music for us. We're going to do it this way.
They say a girl learns how to be a woman from her mother, but does she really? They say she learns how to be respected by a man from her father, but is that true? So what happens when the life we girls choose is not the life we saw our parents live? I guess in the end we make a choice, right? So how we really living?
Not at a time.
Okay, so I'm interrupting that beautiful song that was about to play because I have a caller on the line who's live. Caller, identify yourself.
Yes, this is the one and only, the Roots Warrior, Daddy Lion Sandell.
DLC! Hey, what's going on with you?
How's everything? It seems the environment is still the same, never changes. Two beautiful black women in the place. And,
Wow.
it never stops on the Conduit Show.
I'm telling you, that's what we do, It's the conduit from me to you and back to me. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. I was kind of intrigued in hearing about this particular web series right there. I noticed you were, making you made a big promotion and announced a great big event. And when it comes down to
great big events,
to the things that are happening in the Afro-Caribbean British community, everywhere you go, there's always something really interesting to converse about.
Absolutely. It's just that we're not getting the information out there. So I'm so glad for this opportunity that, is here on E2 on Air and also with your forum too. Tell us very quickly about that, DLC, because you got some of your fans in the house who are just so happy to hear your voice again.
Yes, I'm very pleased that all my fans are here. We gathered around the whole the webosphere, at E2 as well as at Radio DLC. We launched three weeks ago, and we're going to be on tonight. Same, the tradition is still the same. It's going to be right after
9 to 12.
The Conduit at 9 p.m.
Perfect.
With Roots Dynamic Radio live and direct. So,
perfect.
Big up everyone over there. Alita, Glenboy, Tora, Aki Woman,
Yes,
and,
okay, DLC, I'll take it over from there. But I just do want to say, stay tuned because we're working on trying to have a get-together where we can get like-minded people to view the whole series of Dear Jesus. So stick and stay. We're trying to maybe do a New York screening, but it's kind of still under wraps because we got a very small time frame and window to work with, and I might be calling on you for your assistance in that department. So good luck with your show tonight. I'm going to rush home and log in as usual, and bless up and thank you.
Actually, I called in with a question actually for the creator.
I'm sorry. I'm rushing you off the phone.
Yeah. That's what I called for, really. You see?
Okay.
By the way, what's her name again?
Her name is Danielle.
Danielle. Oh, just simply Danielle.
Danielle Scott-Haughton.
Danielle, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, DLC. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I do have one question because this really intrigued me because of the title and the subject matter that it is. Now, considering that England is notoriously one of the most atheistic or Satanistic, as it were, countries in the world.
Excuse me, DLC, let me stop you right there, because the head of the country is the Queen and the head of the church is the Church of England. So that statement is not quite correct.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not speaking on behalf necessarily of those of the ones who run the country. I'm speaking specifically in regards to the societal, the general consensus of the society over there, because the society has grown a lot more, has veered with more toward an attitude that has gone away from acknowledging, the Most High. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is very vitriolic. Now I've seen this in both the white and the black side, but needless to say, they tend to be more on the white side. Now, my question to Danielle is, considering the times that we're living in, and considering the social environment that frowns very, very vitriolically against any acknowledgement of the Most High, how do you see a challenge in? I mean, because I know you're going to get a lot of conversation, and dialogue, but the question is, do you see a challenge in regards to how your series will fare in the success that I have a feeling, the future success, I should say, that it will garner?
Yes, I completely agree with you, and in terms of the society that I live in Britain, people are not as they're not. It's not easy to start a conversation about God. People get they feel a little bit uncomfortable with the notion. So I completely agree with you. And but the problem is that we cannot be led by our emotions. We have to be led by what we are convicted in our spirits to do. We cannot say to ourselves, well, this isn't the right time, or this isn't we have to look in to realize to ourselves that if we go by what people are telling us the seasons are, we will never get anything done. Do you know what I mean? It's never the right time for black people. It's never the right time for people, the chosen of God. It's never the right time for us. So it's important for us to just take the leap and say, if God has, purposed me, and he made us before we were known. If he has purposed this for us, it doesn't matter what people think they're ready for. He will make a way for it to get out there.
Amen. Does that answer your question, DLC?
Yes. I don't know about you. This is the first time I've heard about this series. This is the first time I've heard of this system and seen this system, which was already impressive enough to me already. I felt a certain vibe coming out of it.
DLC. Yes.
And stop it. And I already have a newfound respect for her. Keep doing what you're doing,
and she
for
is
real.
So...
I shall look deeper into this because really and truly the war is against us. The spiritual war is so much against us, and especially among people like us. And, all we have to do is just keep on fighting against the vultures and everything out there. Whenever they try and stomp you down, you gotta fight back.
But you know what?
Get yourself from underneath the foot. That's
You know
all
what?
it is for that.
DLC, thank you so much for the segue, because I'm going to play a special song just for you. Okay? I'm going to.
It was so nice speaking to you. Thank you for calling.
And you have a new fan,
you.
Danielle.
Thank you. I'm going to be tuning into your show tonight as well, DLC.
All right, there you go. Mutual respect
All right,
and admiration.
thank you, Danielle.
All right,
Thank
God
you
bless
very
DLC.
much, Sharon. I really appreciate it.
Not at all, not at all. So DLC kind of broke the duck, so to speak. So if you do have a question for Danielle, please do give her a call.